Welcome to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprofit.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey, and today we're talking Week 12 in the NFL. We're going to do part one of the Week 12 recap today. We've got 6 games we're going to go over, and let's jump into these things right away. Talk about Falcons, Raiders to start off, and Falcons beat up on the Raiders here 43-6, which was probably not the expected outcome in that one, but that's the NFL these days. Who knows what's going to happen, right? It's changes week to week. So Falcons decide their offense can play, and they just come and beat up on Derek Carr and the Raiders. So Matt Ryan, it's not like he did amazing. He threw 185 yards, 2 touchdowns, a pick. Threw 6 of those to Calvin Ridley, 6 for 50 and a touchdown. No Julio Jones today. They also had no Todd Gurley, so it was Ito Smith and Brian Hill splitting the work. And actually, those guys actually did okay, but Gurley should be back next week. I mean, I wouldn't have probably recommended playing Ito Smith or Brian Hill anyway, even if it worked for Ito Smith with 65 yards a touchdown. But I don't think very highly of Ito Smith. I've seen enough of him, so I don't really think you take much away from this. 43 points, but it's just really just not much there. They returned a pick for a touchdown. It's just I don't know, just went the Falcons' way.
Yeah, I mean, Derek Carr is definitely the story of this one. I mean,
and Josh Jacobs, jeez. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, it's just bad all the way around. They couldn't get anything going, and when your quarterback turns it over 4 times, he had 3 fumbles, and he lost all 3 of them. He threw a pick for a touchdown, and the Atlanta Falcons, to put it nicely, have been a comfortable team to play if you're an opposing quarterback, and Derek Carr could not get anything going. So I don't know. Even in a bad game, it shouldn't have been this bad, but he was a major disappointment, and then obviously everything went off the rails from there. But hey, if you did play Atlanta, at least Calvin Ridley still caught the touchdown. There was no Julio Jones in this game, no Gurley, and they were still able to put up 43 points, mostly defense, obviously. But I don't think if you played Atlanta, it didn't hurt you. But if you played anyone on the Raiders, you were disgusted.
Except I guess Hunter Renfrow and PPR would have done well for you with 7 catches for 73, but that's about it. Aguilar 5 for 54, Ruggs 3 for 56. Keep hoping Ruggs will get a few more targets. He had 5. Maybe they'll see more of that. Waller had 7 targets, but only turned it into 4 for 23. Like I said, Josh Jacobs. I mean, in a game like this, when you're down, you can't get the run game going. So they didn't. He had 7 carries, 27 yards. He caught 3 for 17. Just a bad game for the Raiders. Nothing good coming from that one. So next up, Bills, Chargers. Bills win 27-17. Josh Allen, he did get knocked out of that one at one point, but came back, so he was fine. He threw for 157 and a touchdown and a pick, but he ran one in like he does, right? So he made it a decent game with that. Devin Singletary, 11 for 82.
No, I'm not. Every time he does something like this, I always want to be like, I know that he can do it. It's not the talent, but I'm over it. I mean, good for you. You had one decent game, but he had, whatever. I'm so jaded now.
Zach Moss looked fine too. He had 9 for 59. So they both look they both look good. Receiving side of things, Diggs had 7 catches, but only turned him into 39 yards. It was Gabriel Davis who had 3 catches for 79, a touchdown, which was actually thrown by Cole Beasley. So a little interesting play there. Cole Beasley threw a touchdown. Beasley himself only had 2 for 25 on the day. So that's it for the Bills. The Chargers. So the Chargers, my biggest takeaway from this was actually Anthony Lynn is a terrible coach. So I was watching this thing at the end of the game. So Herbert throws up basically 4th and 17 or something. It was a quite a bit. There's only maybe 30 or 40 seconds left in the game, and they're down 10. He throws up a Hail Mary, basically. It's caught by, I can't remember who caught it right now. It might have been Johnson, if I remember right. I think it was Johnson who caught it. They get down at the 1-yard line. No timeouts, right? No timeouts. They run up. There's maybe then, 20 to 30 seconds left. They call it run play. And it gets stuffed. That is probably some of the worst coaching I've ever seen. I mean, you're down 10. And
I don't
there's
know.
no timeouts.
Is it worse than McCarthy?
Well, Mike McCarthy's a moron, but I don't even know if he's that much of a moron. He is, but oh man, it was terrible, just terrible. He's going to get himself fired, and that's probably fine for Justin Herbert. Herbert's good. He really is good.
He didn't have a great game.
No, but today. he's just good. He's
but yeah,
really
he threw 52 times. He one touchdown, one pick, 316 yards. He even in this game, he kind of kept him in it. I don't think it was all him, but the big takeaway for me on this one, the thing that I really wanted to see was, hey, how does Austin Eckler look? Right, that's really what everyone is looking for going into fantasy football playoffs. And I have to admit, he looked way more ready to play than I thought he was going to. And, 14 carries for 44 yards, nothing spectacular, but the amount of times they targeted him out of the backfield, 16 times, he caught 11 of them for 85 yards, no touchdowns, but you can tell that he is immediately tossed back into the lead back role, which I felt like they said they weren't going to do.
Yeah.
But hey, he looked really good. And if they keep throwing it to him like that, it's a great way to get easy yards for Justin Herbert, and it'll be great for Austin Eckler. So that was my biggest takeaway. Everything else kind of went to plan. Keenan Allen had the touchdown, 4 for 40, nothing huge, but once again, it was a little more of a defensive game than what the Chargers are used to playing, because Herbert has been throwing a lot of touchdowns of late.
So next up, Giants-Bengals, just a wonderful football game to watch. Giants win 19-17. Giants are now the new leaders in the NFC East.
That is so crazy.
They have the same record, I think, as the Lions.
Oh, it is so ugly.
Who fired their coaches and their coach and their GM? Finally, thank God, it's over. It's over.
Finally, yeah.
But the Lions would be first place in the East. So the Giants win. Daniel Jones threw for 213, no touchdowns, no picks. But the big story there is I
love it. He led them to victory.
He got hurt that one. It sounds like a pretty bad hamstring injury. Colt McCoy came in. Colt McCoy's with the Giants. This was news to me today. I don't know why. I know he wasn't with Washington, but it just felt like he's still with Washington for some odd reason. But there, Colt McCoy comes in. He might be the guy going forward. But I don't know. Wayne Goldman, it's ugly, man. This is bad. This is a bad football team that's a first play. It might make the playoffs. Can you imagine that?
It's so crazy. It is even crazier to say Wayne Goldman is a legitimate option for fantasy. He has been every time they put him in there. And if you give him 24 carries, he finds a way to get in the end zone.
He does. Wayne Goldman you can use him.
Yeah,
100% use Wayne Goldman.
I used him in one of my leagues. I am not ashamed.
No, you can do it. And then Evan Ingram with a good game. They're 6 for 129. We haven't seen that kind of production from Evan Ingram in like 2 years, I feel like. So very good. I don't know what that means though, with Daniel Jones now hurt.
Yeah,
they're playing the Bengals. You know what it means? They played Cincinnati. That's what it means.
Yeah, I wish that I would have good things to say about it. Evan Ingram is a talent. Yeah, we had a lot of we really felt that he could have been something, but he's been so up and down, and I know it's not all his fault, injuries and quarterback play, but I can't in good conscience tell you that this is going to be something that continues to happen.
For Cincinnati, you're really not trying to use many of these players at this point. Brandon Allen was the quarterback. You are definitely never going to use Brandon Allen unless you're in a 2 QB league and you're in a really bad spot. That's about the only time you would do that. He's just not worth playing. Geo Bernard, 8 carries, 32 yards. I think we know what Geo Bernard is at this point. He's okay. He's an average running back who I guess if you absolutely need to play him, you can, but I, again, wouldn't want to. It really comes down to maybe you want to play Higgins or you want to play Boyd, maybe. Higgins did get a touchdown, 5 for 44. I would have a hard time playing many Bengals right now.
Yeah, look, I really like T. Higgins' talent. I've used him a lot. I was a big fan, honestly, in the middle of the year when he really started breaking out. But even for me, we had a question last week about possibly cutting him, throwing him back if you need other players. And I still, even though he caught the touchdown, good for him, I'm still nowhere near being able to throw him in my lineup. So I'm still of that that mindset that every person on this, unless you're, I honestly don't believe I would start anyone. I think maybe if the running back came back and you needed someone, maybe you would play Mixon. But other than that, I'm completely off this Bengal team.
Next up is Titans Colts. Titans win 45-26 behind Derrick Henry, who is doing this end of season thing again, where he is just unstoppable. He had 27 carries, 178 yards for 3 touchdowns. So one of those touchdowns is counting as a rushing touchdown. If you watch the play, it was initially, we thought it was a pass. Everyone thought it was a pass. They're calling it a run because apparently the ball was slightly maybe behind the line of scrimmage when Tannehill threw it to him, which I thought it was pretty much on line, which if you're a Tannehill owner, you lost a touchdown, which is disappointing. Henry wouldn't really change anything, but man, he is looking good right now, and the schedule is favorable for him going forward, especially in the playoffs. Week 14, 15, Jacksonville and Detroit for those 2 weeks. Derrick Henry is going to win some championships again. It's just how it's going to play out. He's good. He's hard to tackle. And it looks like the Titans are going to that offense again, right? That they did last year towards the end of the year, I feel like. Tannehill was only 13-22. He didn't have to do much. And they're just going to start running that thing.
Why would you not? I mean, look at the amount of points they put up against the Colts. The Colts have a very good defense. Mm-hmm. Colts are not a bad team. They're 7-4. Tennessee Titans put up 45. You can run all over them. And then because of that, now you can throw. And when you throw, you don't have to throw that much in order to be deadly because they're not, they got everyone lined up in the box. And A.J. Brown, once again, he has got to be one of the most talented young wide receivers because he gets, 5 to 7 targets per game. And he always finds the end zone. I mean, in this one, too, I think he found it twice, actually, on that was an onside kick that he took to the house, too.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, unbelievable. I mean, it really is. Corey Davis, another decent game. Once again, these are not exactly PPR players, but Corey Davis, 3 for 70. It falls off quickly after that. But Ryan Tannehill, if he got that touchdown, it was very respectable for being a run-heavy offense. I think this team is going to be very dangerous going into the playoffs, the real playoffs, but obviously there's a lot of players for fantasy as well. I think Ryan Tannehill is a legit quarterback streamer. I think Derrick Henry might be the guy you want, and I could see A.J. Brown being a top wide receiver 2 kind of player, and Corey Davis is going to be on a lot of teams as well because I think he's very useful still.
And for the Colts, they didn't play too well in this one, but Rivers threw for 2 touchdowns, 295 yards. It's actually not a bad output for him there. I just don't want to play Phillip Rivers. So Jonathan Taylor missed this game. He was put on the COVID list. But the odd thing about this one was their use of Jacoby Brissett in this game. They used him, and he ran for 2 touchdowns because of it. Very odd. Obviously, you can't plan for that. You can't use Jacoby Brissett. It's just wasted touchdowns if you look at it from a fantasy football perspective. So they don't go anywhere for you. Nahim Heinz, he had 8 catches for 66 yards. So he only had the 10 carries only turned into 29, but he's getting reception. So in PPR, he's really looking good. I definitely think you can use Heinz in PPR. Jordan Wilkins had a chance here without Taylor and Willie. He's not good. Jordan Wilkins isn't good. He's just not.
Well, he would have been. This is, it's going to be the would have, could have kind of thing. He had one big game, and then Nahim Heinz is not the back that you want to hand it off to more than 10 times. You really don't. He's going to be the guy that catches it. If he was the one that got those goal line carries instead of Jacoby Brissett, people would be like, okay, he got 2 touchdowns. Like, is he the guy to have? Obviously, they don't believe in him like that. So thankfully for the Colts, they kind of made your mind up for you.
Receiving there, T.Y. Hilton, we have an appearance from him, but still, whatever. Stay on the waiver wire, T.Y. Hilton. I don't care about you. You're just no one cares anymore. Trey Burton catches a touchdown, so he still stays relevant in the tight end realm when there's no one else out there. Michael Pittman, we're hoping to see some things from him, but only 2 for 28 today. So, but 9 targets? Is that right? 9 targets and only 2 for 28. So that's interesting. That's interesting. So that is something to take away from that. Yeah.
So he doesn't completely fall off your radar because of that.
Definitely not. No, those targets are what you like to see. All right, Vikings, Panthers. Vikings win 28-27. Carolina, I think, missed a last-second field goal there that could have won them that game. after the Vikings came down the field and scored. Kirk Cousins threw for 307, 3 touchdowns. Not too bad. If you're looking, Cousins could be a sneaky play with some good matchups here. He has some receivers to throw the ball. This was without Adam Thielen today. And Justin Jefferson took advantage of that and caught 2 touchdowns with that 7 for 72 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson has just been a very good receiver this year. And if you would have listened to the podcast and listened to Jeff in the preseason, you'd have him on your team. So, all right, it worked out pretty well. Running wise, Dalvin Cook, not his normal big game, 18 for 61. He did leave with an injury, but came back. It was a little scary there for a minute for Dalvin Cook owners. So it wasn't 82 total yards. So not what you want to see exactly, but at least he came out of this one. Looks like he's still healthy. But they'll get Thielen back. They should still have a good passing offense. Carolina, no Christian McCaffrey yet, so hopefully that's back next week, right? If we get Christian McCaffrey back, we'll see what happens. Bridgewater, 267, a touchdown. Robbie Anderson caught 4 for 94, a touchdown. DJ Moore went down with an injury there. I don't know what it ended up being yet. 4 for 61. It was a non-contact injury landing on his right leg, which is never good, right? So,
yeah, as soon as you hear those words, you hold your breath. Hopefully, he's okay.
We'll see what that is. If it's multiple week thing, I guess Anderson and Curtis Samuel. Anderson, I don't think changes much. It just could mean more for Curtis Samuel. He had 5 for 72. I don't really know if it really changes too much, to be honest.
Nah, not really.
Christian McCaffrey is going to change everything with that offense if he comes back. That's where the difference
he'll be
comes
the
in.
only one that gets any looks whatsoever.
Exactly. And then final one for us today, Patriots Cardinals. Patriots win this one 20-17. And Kyler Murray, this is, I guess, the story here. Kyler Murray just killed fantasy owners in their playoff dreams, including mine.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, everyone was riding pretty high in the Kyler Murray, and they should. But it's amazing that New England got this win because Cam Newton pretty much matched him for how bad he played. So it definitely was not a quarterback duel. But yeah, Kyler Murray, 170 yards and 1 interception, and even more so, 5 carries for 31 yards. So he just couldn't get it done. Kenyon Drake took advantage though. 22 carries for 78 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Almost would have done a third. He got stopped on 4th and 1 there at the end of the first half.
Has 3 catches for 15 yards. So Kenyon Drake did a very nice job today. Go figure. But that was in the absence of Kyler Murray doing well.
Yeah, it's just it ended my season. It ended my season, Jeff. It ended my 10-year playoff streak. Kyler Murray ended it.
I'm surprised you're not wearing like a black armband or something to symbolize like a death in the family, because that streak you were touting that pretty heavily, and
the streak lasted a decade.
It was pretty impressive.
I was 24 years old when that streak started.
Oh my god!
I was a young man, very young.
His whole future in front of him.
I had a whole streak of playoff seasons ahead of me.
Well, technically, what do you need to actually do if you pull off on?
I need DK Metcalf and the Steelers defense to outscore Tyler Lockett by 45.22 points.
So possible.
So I need Lockett to be shut out. I need DK to pull a Tyreek, and I need Steelers to do some stuff, which maybe they could. Actually, you know what? Maybe this could be interesting. Steelers are getting to get to go against Robert Griffin III. So we'll see.
I mean, they should put up a few points. So,
yeah,
see. Yeah, that very unlikely. But yeah, you know what? Real respect, real. That is quite the. Hey,
if I
very good league, by the way.
If I pull that off, though, I mean, people will not be happy.
If you pull that off, you have witchcraft. I don't know. We'll burn you or something because I don't know what kind of unholy contract you signed with whom.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know. Did we talk about the Patriots? I don't think we need to. They sucked on offense, but they got the win.
Yeah, they're bad. Damian Harris did get 14 carries. He only turned it into 47 yards, but at least they tried. James White stole 2 touchdowns, though. So 5 carries for 18 yards, 2 touchdowns. obviously that hurts. Damian Harris still remains the only person I'm interested in this one. Cam Newton has turned into a player that I never want to see again. Like after the year starting off where he was kind of an exciting start, and the Scott Fish Bowl is the only league left because it's very hard to come by quarterbacks. He got me negative points once again. So banish him. Banish him again.
What happened there? That was
I don't know. But yeah, he couldn't even, 9 carries for 46 yards. He's not being able to get it done through the air, which, he doesn't have a whole lot of help wide receiver wise, but you think that he'd be able to do a little bit better. They still got the win, by the way. So I guess he did enough. So, they're, 5-6. I don't know. I guess they're doing a little bit better than, I don't know. Is this better than what people expected or is this worse?
I
guess if you're in New England, then you're doing much worse. And then if you're in anywhere else, you're doing a little bit better.
It's hard to say, I guess. I don't even know what I even expected from them, honestly. I probably did expect them to do a little more, to be honest with you. Just because it was Belichick, and I thought he'd find a way, right?
Yeah, I thought there'd be like, I don't know. I guess I don't know what. Yeah, I guess I don't know what either. I guess at this point I thought there would be 6-5 or 7-4 or something of that nature. I thought that he would be able to figure out how to use Cam Newton in a much more productive way. They're running him a little bit, but I still feel like Belichick. I'm just. It's unfortunate that I expect so much out of the guy, even though he's doing a pretty good job still.
All right, that'll do it for part 1 of the recap. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll finish up the week 12 in the NFL. Talk to you guys then.